So many tomatoes are ripening here at the moment in the polytunnel. It's just so beautiful to see them and leave them for the few days and allow them to develop that red hue, that red colour, and it becomes so vibrant. So you really have to look for them through the foliage there, because there's quite a few stalks built up, and I didn't always get to prune them in time. So normally I would pick them when there's that little hint of yellow, but just for the sake of videoing, just for the sake of letting you see the colour. You just have to go in there and find them. If you're enjoying the content and find some value in it, you might consider clicking on the like or subscribe button, and this just enables the information to reach a wider audience and to grow the channel. So I planted a range of cherry tomatoes from the larger beef tomato. We're all probably familiar with beef tomato. And this year I put in these new little tomatoes. They're a dwarf kind, and they've got a kind of a dark speckled leaf, but I think that's the look of that plant itself. It's a feature of the plant, and you really have to go in there and look for the tomatoes. At times they're so tightly packed in underneath the foliage. So lots of them there starting to ripen up and change colour. In the coming weeks I'm going to have sea of tomatoes coming in, but so we make great use of them. And what I want to show you today is how I preserve the tomato. To make your sun-dried tomatoes, you will need some ripe tomatoes. I have lots of them there from the polytunnel. Some need to ripen off a little bit more, but I've plenty to work with there, and I'm going to fill a container with diced tomatoes, and to that I'm going to add some organic 100% extra virgin olive oil, a mixture of herbs that I've collected this summer from the polytunnel, which is rosemary and thyme, and I'm going to use Himalayan sea salt, or equally you could use Celtic sea salt. Either one would be very good to use when making sun-dried tomatoes. To the diced tomatoes, I'm now going to add 1 teaspoon, about a teaspoon, not too much, of salt, and mix in some herbs. So I have thyme and rosemary here. You could add basil, oregano, whatever you have handy, parsley, coriander, little drizzle of olive oil, and that's it. So I'm just going to mix them in, and then I'm going to leave them to sit for about an hour or two, and then I will put them in the dehydrator. Now it could take anywhere from 12 to 48 hours to thoroughly dry these, or even longer. So you'll be the best judge of that. They're actually quite nice midway through, where they're not fully dried, they're just semi-cooked, they're softened, and that rich smell just fills the space that you're in. It's a lovely aroma and just a lovely taste. Now you could also add in tamari sauce here as well, but for personal reasons I just avoid tamari sauce at the moment. I just found it irritated my system, or I think it could be one of the causes why my system was irritated, so I opt out of using it at the moment. But if you have no allergy to it, or it doesn't affect your digestion, tamari is a lovely addition here, and it gives that lovely salty flavour to the food as well. So for me personally, I'm just avoiding soya, but if you are not avoiding soya and you've no problems with it, by all means add it in. To my diced tomatoes, I added 1 tablespoon of Himalayan salt. You could equally use Celtic sea salt. That would be another very healthy option. I put in a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, an organic form of it, and some herbs from the garden. I put in some rosemary and thyme. Whatever you have growing is always best, but if you don't, just try and find some mixed herbs somewhere and add them to the blend. Mix them all together and leave it to set out on the countertop for an hour or two, just to let all of the flavors infuse. I will then dehydrate the tomatoes for anywhere from 12, I'd say it would take 48 hours or possibly more to fully dry these. So they can be taken out of the dehydrator at any stage and added to your salad. Once they're just warmed and softened, they have a beautiful flavor and they're very moreish. When you taste one, you'll find you'll eat plenty more. So you might have to stop yourself eating them all. There we have a very simple way of preserving tomatoes. If you grow them outside in the polytunnel and you're looking for a way to make use of your tomatoes, simply adding some sea salt or Himalayan salt, olive oil and some herbs, you will prepare a lovely little tasty tomato that can be added to the salad at any stage of the dehydrating process. End result, these sun-dried tomatoes, which will now be stored in a glass jar and just placed in the freezer until needed, and I have to say they are extremely tasty. So a beautiful end result. So 3 large containers of tomatoes have now been reduced in size to just 1 container and can easily be stored in the fridge until needed, which I will use them to make a tomato pesto, or just simply add them to salad. So very happy with the end result and a great way to preserve homegrown tomatoes.